Hey, you know a game has an amazing story and is loaded with charm and personality and was critically acclaimed when it came out? That's right, Ghost Trick. You know what game has a remaster coming out in about a month across all platforms and will only cost $30? That's right, Ghost Trick. You know which upcoming game remaster has had next to zero marketing at all even though it's only a month away? I honestly don't get it, man. It's the exact same story as what happened 13 years ago. The marketing for Ghost Trick was abysmal and, surprise, the game didn't sell well when it came out. Like, how many of you are hearing about this game for the first time, right at this moment? The critical reception the game got thankfully got word out a little bit, but even after 13 years, the game doesn't have the legacy and recognition that it deserves. The amount of people who just didn't know what this game was or didn't know the significance of it when the remaster was announced was disheartening.
Wait, is that? Well, that can't be good. Murder mystery Ghost Trick returns in HD.
Okay.
This is a thing people like, right? I want to say this is a thing people like.
No idea what this is.
Chat is scrolling very fast, so clearly this is exciting for some people, but I don't know what this is.
I feel like this is a beloved game that I even didn't hear about until just this second.
I've heard this game is amazing, by the way. Like, really good. I just never played it.
And it's not like it's their fault, the word just didn't spread. But for those of us who knew about this game's quality, we lost it.
Yes!
Who's there?
Dude,
Is that?
I can't. Are you kidding me with this? Oh my god! Ghost Trick!
Ghost Trick!
No way!
What? Is that?
No freaking way!
My beloved!
Ghost Trick!
Alright, chat, gonna need everyone to pick up a top 5 game of all time.
This is one of my absolute favorite games.
If you haven't played this game, let me tell you right now, it's worth it.
Even help
one of
out
the best
like this
video
woman
games
and
ever
change any
Absolutely.
This is one of the best puzzle adventure whatever games. I don't want to spoil it, but like, oh my god, the story just ravels in this brilliant way.
It is so good. You don't get it. It is so good, and it's gonna be on modern consoles.
Such a great game. For those who've never played Ghost Trick, if you're into like intellectually driven gameplay, you're gonna like Ghost Trick.
Everyone needs to play Ghost Trick when that comes out. Oh my god.
So you'd think, with the high praise the game got all those years ago, these reactions people had for the game's announcement, the fact that this game was written by Shu Takumi, same person who made Phoenix Wright, and the lowered price of $30, that it would make marketing for this game just so easy. Just slap those review scores from forever ago onto an ad. Take quotes from reviews. Show reactions from YouTubers losing it. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. You have all these positive things about the game that you can pull from to convince people to buy it, and they just haven't done it. So screw it, I'll do it for them. Here's why you should buy Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick is labeled as a mystery adventure puzzle game with a heavy emphasis on story. You play as Sissel, someone who has just recently died and is now conscious as a ghost. The game wastes no time to hook you as you're immediately presented with a tense situation, a young woman being murdered right before Sissel's eyes. You very quickly learn of Sissel's special ghost powers, primarily the power to go back in time 4 minutes before someone's death, where he tries to prevent that death by possessing objects and interacting with them, leading to the game's puzzles. For example, possessing a bell on a bicycle makes that bell ring, which can distract someone into delaying an action, or even causing a chain reaction. When you go back in time 4 minutes before someone's death, you'll see the entire scene play out before you can interact with anything, so you have an idea of what items are present and what they can do. The puzzles aren't too hard that you'll ever get stuck for too long, but they're not a cakewalk either. They're engaging, but not frustrating. The puzzles are fun, but they themselves won't be the reason you'll want to continue playing. Ghost Trick has a masterfully crafted story, and it's woven into its puzzles so that things are always progressing forward as the mystery of who Sissel is and why he was murdered gets deeper and deeper. What starts off as a simple murder mystery turns into something much larger than he could have anticipated. The story itself takes many twists and turns, but I wouldn't call it overly complicated. It's told well enough and over the course of so many hours that it's not difficult to follow. It also gives you room to theorize about what could be happening before giving you the next big reveal, which is something I know I very much appreciated when I first played the game. The game's story does follow some dark themes, which you can only expect in a game where death is a main concept, but it balances it out wonderfully with a cast of characters that are some of the most animated and charming you'll ever see, brimming to the bone with personality. The game does an incredible job making each character distinguishable in both their designs and behavior, so you won't be wondering if you've ever run into a character before or not, because they're all very memorable in their own exaggerated way. And exaggerated they very much are, in a cartoonish sort of way that's very endearing. Despite the majority of the cast being a bunch of goofballs, it never felt like they were hindering the story in any way. It's not as if the characters aren't taking the events of the story seriously, they just have their own unique way of doing it. The game knows when to take itself seriously and when it's time for a more lighthearted tone. The game is like Phoenix Wright in that regard. It's not a spoiler to say that a lot of these characters end up dying multiple times. The game itself is about death and going back to undo those deaths, so you don't have to worry about whether Sissel actually interacts with them or not, because he definitely does. Also, I've been told that I'm morally obligated to specifically mention Missile, who is one of the best dogs in video game history, and personally one of my favorite video game characters ever. And also, I can't tell you anymore. You need to go into this game with as little information as possible. It's one of those games. Word of mouth didn't help sales all those years ago, but hopefully after 13 years of positive things being said about this game, as well as it being available on all modern consoles, it'll be enough to sell copies. Hopefully those of you who haven't played it will at least consider buying it so you can experience a great story, and so that we can get more games written by Shu Takumi. And to those of you who have played Ghost Trick and know what an amazing game it is, we need to spread the word of this game more than we ever have before. Tell your friends about the game, post it on Twitter or whatever, start a freaking hashtag, I don't know, link to reviews of the game on whatever site you regularly go to. There are plenty of good videos out there recommending the game. Make your own freaking video and make your friends watch it. More people need to know about this game, man. It's coming out on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. On the Steam page, the minimum requirement suggests that it can run on a banana. And this ain't a freaking charity for the game, we're doing people a favor. Ghost Trick is their favorite game and they just don't know it yet. Okay, that might be a bit much. I just don't want to live in a world where Ghost Trick doesn't do well again. Ghost Trick is one of the few games I legitimately can't find anything wrong with without resorting to nitpicking. Like, I wouldn't even say that about my favorite game, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. As much as I love 999, there are still flaws that are hard to ignore. But no matter how many times I play Ghost Trick, I've never noticed anything major to set it back. It's a game I wholeheartedly recommend to anyone.